The other volunteers helping out as the concrete, or I should say the asphalt slab, gets laid down in preparation for the bleachers. Now the bleachers are getting ready. Do we know who these two guys are right here, Russ?
I think that's Kurt Dennison, my brother Ed, with the first structure of steel for the grandstand.
Watch this hammer toss right there. Perfect toss. These guys have been doing it a while, haven't they?
They've tossed a lot of hammers and a lot of stuff in their day, but they done a super toss that day.
There it is, handle to handle. Look at the hammer go right to work. We even put it in slow motion for you to take a look at it. And because of that great work by these fellows on the bleachers, these bleachers went up in a relatively short amount of time, didn't they?
Right, they went up super. There was a lot of holes to be drilled in the plank and so on, but it went up in super time. We had to rush for it.
There's one of the first painters on the job.
Right, that's my stepson, Steve. Volunteered his time to start spraying blue on that to make it before we put the plank down on the grandstand.
And your brother Ed right there waving to the camera, the first man to take a seat in the bleachers, and he took the top seat, the top row right down there into turn number 1. Some 5,000-6,000 people can fit in these bleachers, Russ.
That's right, we can get 6,000 in there, and again, back to the brother Ed, he had the first seat, and what a great brother I got.
Now, here's Russ Densmore living out his retirement on the back of a bulldozer, but it caught you by surprise, didn't it?
Yeah, I got carried away, standing on it a little hard and got her in the wall like a race driver.
So, it is true that the first person into the wall was yourself.
Well, I paid for the wall. I ought to be entitled to be first into it. Well, it's soft. We're back in here. See, how I thought that was pretty hard. There's water back there. Side stand.
So there's Russ with his explanation on why he got the bulldozer into the wall, and they hooked it up. They had to take a few people from the crew to get over there, and this took a little while, didn't it?
Right, that probably took us a couple hours time we got that heavy equipment back over. Got hold of that little job of mine, got me back up on the track.
And here we are nearing the end of August, Russ, and it's really starting to take shape. It's really looking like a racetrack, and you can start to feel it, can't you?
That's one of them proud days you have when you brought her that far. It looks like you're on the home stretch right there. Now we got the water truck putting on the brine water. That'll hold them big semis you'll see later. Tightens the sand so we can get them semis around it better.
And this was done maybe the night before the paving?
Right, we dropped that just before dark that night, and next morning we was ready for the asphalt.
Here we are, 7:18 in the morning, August 27th that is. And remember, Russ and Pat Densmore, they're shooting for an October race date. And it was really important to get the race in this season, wasn't it?
Right, we had to have that in for a tax write-off purposes. We had so much money stuck into concrete and everything you see out there. We had to have some kind of a write-off for that year.
Now, I know people ask you this probably all the time. This is $1 million facility, isn't it?
Let's put her $1 million plus.
It's amazing. There, ladies and gentlemen, the first asphalt to be laid down at the Michigan Ideal Speedway. It started in turn number 4. This is the first truck unloading, and it takes about 15 or 20 minutes for each truck, and they just keep coming back time after time, don't they?
Right, they all come out of Lansing, and we had about 20 trucks on the road, so they didn't have any holdup, because that stuff's hot and it has to be laid real quick like.
And the fellows laying the asphalt, they know what they're doing, don't they?
That's a Reith Riley company out of Grand Rapids. They were out of Lansing also, and they done me a super job. You come out and take a look at it. It's perfect as far as I'm concerned.
Here's one of the unique safety features, the staging area outside of turn number 4, Russ.
I built that up 2 foot extra high, so when a driver's sitting in his car waiting to participate in the race, he can see the cars ahead of him, see what happens, so he'll be ready to go.
And about this time, I would imagine there's a lot of people from the Springport area. They want to get their own car out there on the racetrack, don't they?
Right, that come a day, and we're seeing it more and more every day as the years go by now.
Here's another one of the vehicles that Russ paraded around the facility throughout 1989, one of his 3-wheeled golf carts right here as he tips his hat to the crowd. And now, Russ, take us on just a little tour here between 1 and 2 on your golf cart.
Over on this side this time by. We got another pile coming up. We'll better go above it, I guess.
Well, officially the first in-car camera shot of the Michigan Ideal Speedway. And look at the banking here on the backstretch.
Right, that backstretch, as you look to the right up on the top of the picture, is 10 foot higher than the lower portion of the track is.
Here's the day, Russ. I'm sure you remember it. October 7th, shortly before 10:30 in the morning. You wish good luck to your first driver ever.
Right, Jimmy Barnhart was the first man to ever run on the track. Jimmy done a lot of work for us, and that was his pay for what he'd done for me.
Jim Barnhart supplying a lot of the heavy equipment to construct the Michigan Ideal Speedway. Therefore, Russ allowed Jim Barnhart to take the inaugural ceremonial lap, and then came time for you and your lovely wife, Pat, the next day, October 8th, came out in this beautiful Chevy convertible as the crowd was on their feet.
Right, that was a real tearjerker there. It's something I never thought I'd live long enough to see happen.
You're glad you did it now, aren't you?
Well, some days are still I'm in doubt, but I'm real proud because I have people like you and all the race fans to come out and enjoy it.
Oh, and we thank you, believe us. Here we are, the late models. They take to the track here as several divisions made their way to the Michigan Ideal Speedway this first weekend in October of 1989. And of course, hopefully the late models will return again. And of course, we know that the ever-popular open-wheel Formula IndyCar series, they're always popular, and they'll be back.
They'll be back year after year. It's a super bunch of boys.
And they are competitive, powered by snowmobile engines. You got to get out to see them. The Ideal Iron Class, this is the guts and the glue of the Michigan Ideal Speedway, isn't it?
That's the greatest group of cars we have out there. Them boys hang her all out on street tires, and they come for the sport, not the money.
And they'll be back running each and every week at the Michigan Ideal Speedway. Now, for this first weekend at the Michigan Ideal Speedway, not only people from mid-Michigan showed up at Russ and Pat Densmore's place, but watch this gentleman. They came from all over the country.
No, I'm from Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Oh, really? Yeah, you're a long ways away. You're just up here visiting, or?
Yes, I'm a former resident of this area. I used to be involved in automobile racing some 30 years ago.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I used to announce at the Jackson Motor Speedway.
You're an old pioneer then at this.
You might say that,
Yeah.
yes.
The late Jack Stater, good to see him the opening weekend.
That's right. We miss him dearly now. He was a great announcer at the Jackson Motor Speedway and all over the state.
The IMCA Modified, seen here the first weekend at the Michigan Ideal Speedway. They'll be back in the upcoming season. And, of course, they always provide plenty of excitement, don't they?
Right, they always put on a good program. We're looking forward to having them back again this year, of course.
And, of course, not only the guys show up at the Michigan Ideal Speedway, but the ladies like to come out, too.
You from around here?
What?
You from Springport? Or
Leslie.
Leslie? Think you'll come back next year?
Oh, yeah. My husband really likes the track.
Really?
And when the sprint cars take to the track, Russ, you better hang on to your hat.
You're always ready. When that green is on in them, boys, anything can happen, and it happens all the time.
And hopefully we'll see those sprints and midgets back in the upcoming years at the Michigan Ideal Speedway. It was a dream that was nearly washed away for Russ and Pat Densmore in northeastern Calhoun County. But now, as we enter the 1993 racing season, it's going to be the best ever. Russ and Pat Densmore's Michigan Ideal Speedway.
The new Michigan Ideal Speedway, Springport, throughout the state, just everybody all together. I wish you all to come out and see what I got out here. I'm proud of Springport, and I'm sure the people will be proud of this when they see it. We'll be running the late models, the IMSA Modified, that's the ones with the open front wheels. We'll be running the mini champs, I say, and probably the sprinters, and not this year, probably the midget, but unless I bring Jimmy Barnhart out and try it. But at this time, I'd like to welcome everybody to the new Michigan Ideal Speedway here in Springport, Michigan.
Thank you, Russ. Best of luck, and we'll see you on race day.
Thank you. I'll be looking forward to you. Welcome out anytime, you know.